Mother-in-law has ruined my brother-in-law and tried to ruin my marriage. I only just joined Reddit today, but my friend recommended me here for help. I'm not too sure where to begin, but I really need to vent right now. I'll just start at the beginning. My mother-in-law is a controlling psycho. She abused my husband and his brothers from the moment they were born, and it has left long-lasting impacts on them. My husband cut contact the moment he turned 18 and moved in with me, later getting married. My brother-in-law, the youngest, was not too lucky like my husband. She screwed up his whole life, manipulated him because he was an unplanned child, ruined his chances of getting him an education by pulling him out of school, and made him so emotionally dependent on her that the moment she decided to kick him out at 18 years old, my brother-in-law was lost. Due to his lack of education, he could not get a good job, and even poor-paying ones turned him down. It all crashed down just a month ago where he had been let off due to his workplace being closed down. He could not find another job, and eventually he could not pay his bills and was going to be evicted from his home. It was the most horrible night when we got a phone call saying that he had attempted suicide. My husband became a wreck. My brother-in-law was in even more debt, so it became apparent to us and the hospital that the moment he is discharged he will probably try to kill himself again. The relationship between me and my husband strained, and it got so bad that we threatened divorce. My mother-in-law is over the moon over it. She hates me and blames me for her son leaving. She calls to torment me over the phone. She wants to take my son. If I hadn't taken her son away, my brother-in-law would have been happy. My fault, yada yada. I just ignore it. She is also crying crocodile tears on Facebook over my brother-in-law, but luckily my husband has not turned towards her side. He knows it's her fault, his brother is the way he is, so he tore her out. In one of my catch-ups with my husband, he told me about how she was trying to encourage him to get divorced. I'm proud he sees through it all. Right now we are separated to cool off steam. He's focusing on helping his little brother, who desperately needs it. He is a very kind man, and it is horrible that he has fallen so low. This woman repulses me, and thankfully she has not won yet. I will update with anything else that happens. I have told my husband about this subreddit, and he may share his own stories. I'm done fighting. He is my son. The title pretty much sums everything. I have a 9-month-old. He is a sweet little boy. My mother-in-law likes to be the center of attention. She has to be the important person in everyone's lives. She used to get jealous when husband does things for me. I let a lot of things slide. Shouldn't have done that. We moved away, and things got a lot better. Then I conceived. I had a complicated pregnancy. I was on bed rest for the most part. My mother-in-law would hint that it's my fault. I had a premature delivery, but my son was healthy. She would always comment on how her son is little because I gave birth early. She refers to herself as his mother. According to her and my father-in-law, my son is an exact replica of my husband. Baby is most attached to husband, then to my mother-in-law and everyone else. Baby cries for me because I breastfeed him, he wouldn't want me otherwise. She questions all my parenting choices, which was approved by my son's pediatrician. According to her, I starved her son for the first 6 months, because he was exclusively breastfed. I hate her visits. She would want to hold the baby from the moment he wakes until he's put to bed. She wouldn't even let me take him to change diapers. She interrupts his routine, and when he gets fussy it's because he wants his granny. I was very outspoken. I made it very clear she is not allowed to break boundaries. She does not get to parent my child, she is not the mother. But has that stopped her? Not even a bit. I have come to really hate this person. I have told her off multiple times. But she's selfish. I wish I could take my son and get far, far, far away from her. My husband has not stepped in for the most part, which has had a very negative impact on our marriage. I grew up in a very loving household with both parents, and that's what I want for my children. He probably, though I'll suck it up for the sake of my son. But I asked for a divorce 3 months back. Husband has asked for a second chance. He stood up for me when my mother-in-law visited last month. He has been more supportive and empathetic since then. He's holding his end of the bargain for now. But I am absolutely done with his mother. I want to go low contact or no contact. Edit. Hey all, thank you for all responds. I've got a few private messages as well. I've read all the comments. I agree it's more of a husband problem. To answer a few questions, I've started counseling. I've already been to 2 sessions, and it has been incredibly helpful. The day I asked for a divorce, I had a serious talk with husband. He owned up to his mistakes, and he gave me an insight on his childhood. He grew up in a highly controlled environment. He was not allowed to play or have friends over. The only thing he had were books, hence his habit of reading. He opened up about a lot of emotional abuse and how it still affects him. Which is one of the reasons I decided to give him some grace. He has his first individual therapy in 2 days. We'll be starting couples therapy soon. The other reason is he's a great dad. He's an equal parent, he does his share of the house chores, he's not a good cook, but he helps me with meal preps. He makes sure to spend time and play with our son even if he had a long day. I can tell he's trying to give our son the healthy love he probably never got. That being said, if he's not willing to work on himself, I will definitely be going forward with divorce. I've talked to my parents and siblings. I have a strong support system to fall back on if needed. Now to talk about the mother-in-law. She's a retired teacher. When she visits, she always drives. She'll visit at evening hours and guilt husband into letting her stay the night because she can't drive at night, poor vision. And it's a 4 hours drive, and she's recently diagnosed with arthritis, and she also has occasional flare-up of her chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Merits to her smoking, although she has been decent enough to not smoke at our place. She's all about how her body aches, how she can't travel back the same day. What if she has another flare-up in a hotel room? She'll guilt husband into letting her stay, and she'll go on about how she had to raise him all alone and how her only child is abandoning her in old age. My mother-in-law tried to ruin my marriage and my relationship with my daughter. I just found out from my daughter that my mother-in-law has been telling her all kinds of horrible things about me. They talked every night before my daughter went to bed, and I never worried about it because who would? Well, I caught my daughter going through my phone, and when I confronted her, she didn't want to tell me why she went through it. This behavior is completely unlike her, so I had a feeling that something was going on. When I asked her what she was looking for, she said, "I wanted to see if you're cheating." So then I asked her why she would feel that way, and she refused to tell me why. Well, fast forward a day and she comes downstairs for breakfast, visibly upset. So I ask her what's wrong, and she says, "If I tell you, will I get in trouble?" To which I responded, "Well, it depends on what you're telling me." She then proceeds to word vomit all over the place and completely melts down crying, saying that her grandma told her to go through my phone and has been telling her that I am narcissistic and abusive and her son chose the wrong woman to marry and we need to divorce, and that I was probably cheating. She even asked my daughter to send pictures of my text messages to her. So I am furious, and I promptly message her exactly what I was thinking, and she decides to turn it around on me, saying, "Well, imagine how I am feeling. I'm having a hard time too." What the F? I blocked her on all my kids' devices. I told my husband we will not be associating with her because she is clearly unhinged, and that's not something I want our kids to be around.
This is the end of today's stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon.